What's up guys, Tristan here. Today we're doing a video on the Sky Strikers. They come out next week. I'm very excited for them. And I've seen a lot of questions on a bunch of different Facebook groups and videos asking, is Sky Strikers the next Zoodiac? You know, are they going to take over the meta? Are they going to be the best deck? You know, all these crazy questions. And I'm going to help you guys answer those today. There's lots of similarities, but there's also lots of differences between these two decks. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it. So first, we're gonna start off with some similarities. So the first one is they're both one-card engines. Pretty much in Zoo, you could throw in Barrage, a Whiptail, you know, maybe Rat Piers and stuff, and then you have a free Trident, you have free Broad Bulls, like Chalk Nines. Like, it just gained off of one card. Just activating Barrage, it gave you so much advantage and so much just free utility that it just made any deck you put it in that much better. I remember at Nats last year, I was playing against Fire Fist Zoo, there was Dino Zoo, there was all these different Zoo variants. It was, in my opinion, it was really awesome. It was really cool to see people like innovate other old decks by just putting this engine in there. And so that was like one of the cool things about Zoo, in my opinion. So now there's Sky Strikers. Pretty much all you had to do is activate Startup Engage, search the Hornet Bit, summon a token, summon the Fire Link. It starts with a K. I'm sorry, I don't remember its name. And then the Fire one gets a spell, one of the brandished spells back. So you can either add an Engage again to search, or you can add the Hornet Bit. If you add the Hornet Bit, pretty much you have a free Link 2, because you activate the Hornet Bit, and you have now a level 1 warrior token, and you have a machine Link 1. So it's literally just a free Link 2 in essence. And then, you know, you just keep doing your plays. So while the engine itself isn't as good as Zoo, I would say, you can literally put this engine in any deck. I've seen ABC Sky Striker, I've seen Spiral Sky Striker. Pretty sure you could put Goki in there. You know, there's all these different decks that you just throw in this little 6 to 7 card engine in any deck, and it's just free link advantage. It just helps you link summon so much. So that was a really cool thing. The next one is that they're both generic-ish engines. Like I said, you can pretty much put these engines in almost any deck. I've been playing around with Lightsworn Sky Striker. You know, it's really good because Charge Light Brigade, you mill 3, you mill spells, then it's just value for your Startup Engage. And with the Field Spell and the Continuous Spell, you can send any monsters you summon, you can just put those back in the grave. So it's really awesome. The next one is the extra deck gains advantage. So if you remember with Zoo, you had Broad Bull, which search any any Beast Warrior monster from your deck, and then there was also Chalk Nine, which summoned one from the grave. So it helped you get those little +1s every once in a while. Now with the Sky Strikers, it's a little different. It's a little bit slower. So with the Fire one, when it's summoned, you can add any brandish spell from your graveyard back to your hand. So it lets you get that utility. And then the Water one, it lets you add a brandish spell from your deck that's different from any in your graveyard during the end phase. So while they have a Broad Bowl per se, it's also a lot slower because you have to wait till the end phase to resolve it. So in that way, the extra deck gains advantage. The next one is they're both stun-centered decks. I remember last year, me and David were talking about how Zoo is like the best anti-meta deck of all time. You know, because literally, like, you played like 10 monsters, then you played like 10 hand traps, like 10 of your like good spells, and you just played like 5 traps or whatever. Like, the deck was just so insane because you just sat on a Trident and you had a couple back row, a couple hand traps every single turn. Like, no matter what, you had the same thing every single turn. And so I really love that. And so now with the Sky Strikers, they have a lot of cool utility spells. So they have like Afterburner, which is like target a monster, pop it, and then pop it back row if you have 3 or more. They have the Spell Popper. They have the Widow Anchor, which just takes a monster, like negates the effect, and if you have 3 or more, negates or takes it. You have like the DD Crow card, and then if you have 3 or more, you just special it to your side of the field. Like, they have all these really cool interruptive plays, and I just love it so much. So they're both pretty decent stun decks. The next one is they can play multiple hand traps. Like I said, right now in Sky Strikers, I'm playing 6 hand traps in the main deck, and then a side deck I'm playing another 6, I think. Like, there's just like, the engine's so small that you can just throw a bunch of stuff in there, so which is awesome. And in Zoo, you're playing like 3 Ogre, we were kind of playing Droll a little bit. There's Flying C, Retaliating C, Max C. Like, there's all these hand traps people are playing. It was absolutely amazing. The next one is powerful spells that gain advantage. So obviously in Zoo you have Barrage, which Barrage is just amazing. Then you had Tenki. Those are like the two main cards that just gain you a lot of advantage in Zoo spell-wise. For these Sky Strikers, they're a little bit slower. They have the field spell, Airspace. What Airspace does is you target a card you control, and then you pretty much pod duality, so you show the top three. If any of them are brandish, you can add that brandish card back to your hand, and then that card that you targeted goes to the graveyard. So it's kind of like a Barrage in a way, but it doesn't special a monster, it adds a card. However, when Airspace is destroyed, then you can special a Ray from your deck. So it has a little dual utility there. And then the continuous spells, like a spellbook with Judgment card, where during the end phase, for every spellbook you activated while this card was on the field, you can set one of those, or set any brandish spell, Sky Striker spell from your graveyard to your side of the field. So it really helps you just gain so much more free advantage, which is absolutely insane. So while Barrage and Tenki like kind of got your engine started a lot quicker, these two cards really just help your plays continue. So they're a little bit different, but they both help you gain advantage. And then finally, one that's kind of funny to me, both of them just get destroyed by like board wipes and kaijus. I remember like we were playing My Body as a Shield in a Zoo format, because like if you just got Dark Clover Geki or Kaiju Slumbered, you just GG. With this deck, you only have one monster on the field at a time. And the monsters actually have pretty decent effects, where their fire one, it gains 100 attack for every spell, and then the water one, which usually you end your turn on, your opponent loses 100 for every spell in your grave. So it's kind of like a really good like floodgate. It's not like a Trident scent where like you can just pop cards, but like all your opponent's monsters are so small that they can't even attack over you. So that's a really valuable part. But yeah, they're both hurt by board wipes a lot. So now we're going to go to the differences of the deck. Now there are a lot of similarities, but the differences are really what separate the two on the tier level. So the first one is the monster count. So Zoo, they had in your main deck, you're probably playing 10 to 12 Zoos. Like at Nats last year, it was 2 Rat, it was 3 Whiptail, like 2 Thoroughblade, 2 Ramram. That's already 9 cards. You might be playing more or less. Kind of just depends on your build. But there's just so many monsters, and any monster got you to your engine. Now, obviously, Rat was the best way to do it. But if you had a Whiptail, Whiptail would get you Borbo to Rodbull Search, get you the Dryden, Chalk9, etc. They really just got you there. For the Sky Strikers, you only have Ray, and then you have Hornet Bit. While Hornet Bit is really like amazing because it's just a free token, and like Ray is pretty valuable because you just tribute it, and if you have a Diablos, you can trigger Diablos, etc. It really just, you don't have as many engine cards. Like, it's such a small engine in itself that it kind of struggles with that. So that's one of the biggest differences. The next one is the power level of monsters. Dryden is on the ban list, Broadbull's on the ban list, Whiptail is amazing, Rapier is at 1 on the ban list, so like all these cards are like absolutely insane. Chalk9 got you so much advantage, Tiger Mortar got your dude really big. There's a lot of good monsters. In Sky Strikers, I may be selling it a little short, but like the monsters, while they're good, they're not amazing. They're not going to be at that level, in my opinion, where they're going to get hit one day. Honestly, like if you in a future time period, you just put Engage to 1, like the deck is just whatever then, in my opinion. So yeah, the monster level is a lot different. Up next, we have the resource game. It's a little bit different. What I mean by resource game is by restarting your engine. So what Zoodiac had is they had Daigusto Emerald, which is now banned, and they had Zoodiac Combo. So Zoodiac Combo is a trap card. You shuffle 5 zoos with different names, put it back on the deck, and then draw 1. That was a really amazing card. Now what the Sky Strikers have is they have an equip spell. And what the equip spell does, it has a really good effect by itself, but then the other effect is when this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can shuffle 3 into your deck. And so while that's nice and all, you don't get the draw. So that's like the unfortunate part, and it's only 3 cards. And like without Emerald, that's one thing that Zoo had, is like you had Emerald to like continuously recycle your stuff. So that's like my one worry with the deck is you're just not going to be able to have, like, if it's a really long grind game, you're not going to have the link monsters just keep going. Like, you only play one of this equip spell, so if it goes really late game, you might have some issues. The next one is the reliance on other engines. Now, what I mean by this, sorry for the cough. What I mean by this is that to play pure Brandish, or Sky Striker, sorry, you have to play either the Toon Table engine, the Foolish Burial engine. You have to play these like wacky spell engines. And with Zoo, you could play pure Zoo, you could play Kaiju Zoo, you could play True Draco Zoo. But like, what I mean by this is, like, to play pure Sky Striker, you needed other engines, or else the deck would be too slow. Where Zoo, it could play by itself completely fine, or else you just put that engine into any other deck. And so, in my opinion, you know, it's just the engines needed for Sky Strikers are just too slow. They're not too slow, they're just not good enough in a way. It's a little weird. The next one is outing problem cards. So while the Sky Strikers can deal with monsters pretty easily with the Widow Anchor and the Shark Cannon, their biggest issue is going to be with like Anti-Spell and Imperial Order. So the cool thing that Zoo had is they had Dryden. So like, alright, I activate Barrage, Imperial Order. Okay, normal summon any Zoo. Put on Dryden. Dryden pop Imperial Order. There we go. My issue's gone. So that's going to be the biggest issue I see. You're going to have to play, you know, Twin Twisters. Like, you're going to have to max out on it probably. So that's going to be a big issue, I think, for Sky Strikers. And then finally, we have the different mechanics of the deck. So while they're both like one card Exceed or one card Links, it's just like a different total mechanic. And so it's going to be interesting to see how well it does in the TCG. Obviously in the OCG, like, the deck is just amazing. But, you know, TCG players are a lot different. And so playing like a Link engine, it's going to be really interesting to see how it develops overall. But yeah, so these are my differences and similarities. I think Sky Strikers is going to be a top 3 deck this format. I think it will end up being the best deck of the format. It's just going to take a while to see what differences we had to make in the TCG compared to the OCG, because they have like 3 Max C, and like they can just play a lot more stun variant, where we're, you know, in a lot more fast-paced format. Even though like the best decks are going to be like Ultrageist, which is a slower deck, so it'll be really interesting to see. Obviously, I think Zoo is completely better, like a whole nother tier level better than Sky Strikers, but Sky Strikers is still a very good tier 1 deck. I think it's going to be around for a long time, and yeah, I'm really excited to play this deck. So let me know what you guys think. Comment down below, tell me if I'm wrong, tell me if I'm right. Definitely ask more questions. If I didn't answer a certain question that you wanted, definitely leave that down below. And yeah, hopefully I'll be getting a deck profile of it somewhat soon. Me and a couple of teammates were ordering on Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles, so who knows how long that'll take. But yeah, I'm really excited. But yeah, stay tuned with the channel, and thank you for watching. And please leave a like, comment, and subscribe.